Hey guys, welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. So today we're taking a look at this. It's the brand new Pachycephalosaurus from Hasbro, and this forms part of the second wave of Hasbro dinosaur toys. We've already reviewed the Allosaurus figure on the channel, which was also part of this same wave. Now I'm a big fan of this dinosaur, mainly because I had the Lost World version of this toy when I was younger in 1997, which had a little button on the leg and it would allow his head to dip down so he could go into that headbutting mode. I also on the channel have a screen use casting of the Lost World maquette. If you haven't seen that, link is in the description down below. That's worth checking out. But today we're going to be taking a look at this guy. So before we get stuck in, let's take a closer look at the packaging. So up in the top left hand corner behind the Pachycephalosaurus, we've got the Jurassic World logo there in chrome. We've got this red and blue scaling going along the top. We've got the T-Rex there roaring proudly in the corner. Down here we have a rundown of the bashing attack. As you move the tail, the Pachycephalosaurus gets animated. And here you can see the long name just barely fitting on the box, ages 4+. That's me! And on the back we've got this picture of the Pachycephalosaurus glowing blue. This one has some major paint variations compared to the dinosaur that we're actually getting. The head has a completely different paint variation on the crest. It's got more of a gradient going on. The eye is painted slightly larger. Also there's paint on the feet that isn't present on the actual toy itself. Okay, time to get this guy out of the packaging. So here is the Pachycephalosaurus out of the packaging, and I have to say this is a really nice looking dinosaur toy. It is a little bit on the small side, the same as the Allosaurus, but in terms of the sculpt and the gimmicks that you're getting, this is actually a pretty nice toy. For some reason on mine the head is tilted to one side, so we seem to have another member of the jazz band. Pachycephalosaurus in hand, you can see he is indeed quite a small figure, and he does have 4 visible screw holes. There's one up there on the neck as well. But as far as the toy goes, this looks really nice. But the main thing we're all here to see is the gimmick. So if you move the tail left to right, you'll see that the head wobbles left to right, which is pretty cool. And then if I swing it up and down, you'll see that the neck projects. So you can actually do some kind of crazy puppetry, although mine does tend to click and catch a little bit. Also on the sculpt here, when you project the neck, there's this weird lump that forms almost like a big Adam's apple as you project the head, so that's a little bit odd. As for articulation on the rest of the figure, the arms can swing all the way up so they can scratch the chin there, but the arm can't go any further back than this, and that's due to the sculpt restricting it. With the leg can move right back, but it can only move this far forward, so that's a little bit of a shame. Same on the other side. In terms of the sculpt and the paint job, it's actually not a bad job. As I said, the gradient would have been nice on the crest as pictured on the back of the box. The eyes are a little bit painted small, but actually the detail is very nice there. And I do appreciate the sculpt on this guy. They've done a much better job than they did with the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which we have reviewed on the channel. I really like the feeling of the tendons and the muscles here in the feet. We've got no sculpt work on the underside of the feet. Unfortunately, we've got literature here printed on flat bottoms. It's a shame we didn't get painted toe claws, but overall a very nice sculpt. Some of you remarked on the tail being up in the last video on the Allosaurus, and this one is another tail up victim. You can see there's some lovely scaling going all the way down this leg. Nice feeling of the muscles across the rib cage there. Nice musculature in the arm. And we're back to that nice head sculpt. So just how big is this guy? Let's get out the tape measure. You're looking at about 7.5 inches, which is about 19 centimeters. And in terms of the height, you're looking at about 5 inches, which is about 13 centimeters. Scale comparison time. Here's the Pachycephalosaurus next to the Series 2 Allosaurus, and as you can see, they had an overflow of yellow plastic for this series. They seem to have been putting everything in yellow. This guy has been reviewed on the channel, so make sure you check that out in the description down below. And here's the Pachycephalosaurus next to the Growler Velociraptor Blue. I actually think these two scale up fairly nicely next to each other. And lastly, let's bring in our old friend Off Color Alan. He's from the 90s and he's not quite sure what day of the week it is. Thanks, Alan. There he goes, he's leaving the review table. So there we have it, guys. That was today's look at the Pachycephalosaurus from the second wave of the Hasbro Jurassic World line. I'm actually very impressed with the second wave so far. I think both the Allosaurus and this one are very decent toys. Compared to the mess that we got in the first wave, I think these are much more worth picking up. I really like the sculpt on this one. It's a shame about the articulation restriction and also the little lump on the neck when you butt the head, but apart from that, this is actually a very playable and very cool looking figure. Okay guys, let me know in the comments down below, will you be picking this one up? In the meantime, rate and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.